Welcome to Core Content Today for May 7th, 2019. This is the show where I give you a quick look at some of the biggest stories happening in the world of core cutting right now. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below, I'll put a link to each story so you can read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, hey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It helps us a lot because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high-cost cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, before we get into the news of the day, let's dive into two quick deals. Starz has once again brought back their $5 a month deal for the first 3 months of your subscription. This is a great deal. It gives you access to Starz original content, plus all kinds of big name Hollywood movies. So check it out. Great thing about core cutting, if you have a service right now, maybe you're not getting a lot of use out of it, drop it, pick up Starz for a few months. When the deal ends, cancel it, go back to the other service. It's a great thing about core cutting. No contracts allows you to jump around. So put a link to the Starz deal down in the show notes. Take advantage of it because it is a lot of great movies for just $5. Next up, Mohu is turning 10 years old, and to celebrate, they're offering 40% off not just one or two antennas, but their entire website. So you do need a particular promo code that you need to enter at checkout to get this deal. Put a link to it down in the show notes, but if you've been thinking about getting an indoor or outdoor antenna, you may want to check out Mohu's sale right now for 40% off everything on Mohu's website. A really great deal. Let's check out. All right, let's get into the news. We talked about deals, now on to the news. According to Discovery CEO, all BBC content will be leaving Netflix. Now, why would Discovery CEO know this? Well, Discovery and BBC have partnered up for a new streaming service launching in 2020 that we'll get to in a minute here. But according to him, part of this deal means all the content from Discovery or BBC will be leaving Netflix to go over to this partnership with Discovery. Now, we reached out to Netflix for details. When are they leaving? What is leaving? Is it really everything? Is it some of it? Netflix has not responded to our emails. So for now, we'll just have to run with what Discovery CEO has said. Netflix usually we find if we say something correct, they'll rush out and they'll correct us right away. We have not heard that at this time. But what does this mean? When is this going to happen? We don't know. 2020 could be another year now before the BBC content leaves Netflix. Will it be all of it? Will it just be the nature content? We don't know yet. But what we do know is some Discovery content will be, or BBC content will be leaving to go to Discovery. Now, Discovery CEO has a history of making announcements like this, and he has a good track record of being accurate about them. So keep that in mind. But let me know, how important is BBC content to your Netflix subscription? Are you going to be upset that it's leaving? Will you be canceling because of it? I'd love to hear you. Or Netflix does seem to be creating original content very much in line with the content BBC has on there. Does that mean that you're going to be happy with that? And that was kind of the reason this topic came up. Discovery CEO was being asked by a Wall Street analyst about Netflix or Hulu moving into areas that have been traditionally dominated by Discovery's core networks and their newly acquired Scripps networks. Discovery kind of shot back by saying, hey, well, BBC content is leaving Netflix, they're coming to our service. Plus, our content makes us a much better option for people who enjoy everything from HGTV to the Learning Channel to Discovery. So I'd love to know, is the Netflix original content enough to make you stay? Or is it not a big deal for you? I'd love to hear from you. All right, next up for sports fans, the New England Sports Network was dropped from PlayStation Vue, also known as NESN, was dropped a couple weeks ago now. And of course, there's dueling arguments about what happened here. Sony says they're looking at the total cost and they're trying to keep their price low. The sports network says, hey, we offered to let them continue their current contract when negotiations continued, but Sony declined that offer. And now the vice president of the New England Sports Network has been telling people who signed up for the newsletter about this issue, hey, you may want to be switching to a new provider. Basically, paraphrasing, said negotiations are not going well. Sony doesn't seem all that interested. Kind of the vibe of it. And if you want to get the New England Sports, you may have to go to a different provider. Now, that's the great thing about core cutting is there is no contract. So if you're upset about Sony not offering the New England Sports Network through PlayStation Vue, cancel, go somewhere else. But it is interesting that these arguments are becoming more and more public. AT&T is having some of these, but AT&T successfully struck some deals to continue to offer the content for a time while negotiations continue. Sony does not seem to be interested in that tactic, at least not in this case. That leads us to believe that maybe they're not all that interested in bringing New England Sports Network back. From listening to the vice president here, sounds like that may be true. My question to you is, how important is this sports network? Did you switch? I really do think that's the great thing about cord cutting is, hey, if you're unhappy about it, I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else. And in about 15 minutes, I can install a different streaming service, sign up, take advantage of the free trial, and I'm gone, Sony. So I'm very interested to see if you took advantage of that or if this is just not a big issue. It is a regional sports network limited to the New England area, so this does limit its impact a little bit. All right, next story up of the day. Over 14,000 Americans are cutting the cord every day. Not just Americans, but American households. That could represent a lot more people. Now, we heard all the stories, you heard me talk about all the time, how people are saying cord cutting is slowing down. It's kind of a fad that's come to an end from the cable executives and their friends. Well, first quarter of 2019 set a record with 1.28 million American households canceling cable TV and pay TV services like satellite and not replacing them there. So that works out to be about 14,000 Americans are cutting the cord every single day. And that includes people who canceled Spectrum and went to DirecTV Now or went to Sling in that 14,000. Again, points to that the vast majority of cord cutters don't seem to be all that interested in a live TV replacement service like Sling TV, PlayStation Vue. Now, this puts the number of cord cutters between 30 and 35 million. I personally think it's closer to the 35 million mark, but let's leave it a little bit there for everybody out there. And then if this continues at this rate, it won't be long, or at least not as long as we thought it would be, before cord cutting is as big, if not bigger, than the traditional paid TV subscribers. So my question to you is, were you one of the 14,000 people every single day in the first quarter that canceled? And why? Now, we heard all the talk about money being a big part of this, but increasingly we're hearing more and more people say, I'm canceling because I want a bigger selection of content not available on cable, or I enjoy the ease and the access that a streaming service offers versus a traditional pay TV contract. Leave me a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear from you on why you canceled. Were you one of these categories? Leave me a comment. I'm really, really interested on this topic because I really do hear more and more often that money is part of it, don't get me wrong, but increasingly things like content not available on cable but is available on streaming or a better customer service experience is the reason they're canceling. All right, next story of the day. Discovery's new streaming service that we talked about a little earlier will reportedly be launching in 2020. Now, we have very little details other than the fact that it will include BBC content and that will be launching in 2020. Now, we do have a lot of rumors and ideas that the Discovery CEO has thrown out. For instance, the $5 to $6 price mark has been what has been talked about in great length. What that will include? Well, there's been ideas all over the place. At one point, he talked about the idea of $5 a month for 17 channels, which would likely include the Discovery and the Scripps Network's content. Now, will these be live channels? Will these be like Pluto TV, where it's a curated list of shows, not necessarily airing when they air on cable, but it is recent content, back catalog content that you would find on Discovery or TCL or the HGTV network? Will this be, he's also talked about the fact that they're going to take some of their smaller networks and make them direct to consumers. So would you find the smaller Discovery-owned networks and then maybe on-demand content for the big ones like HGTV, Discovery, TLC, etc. would maybe be limited to back catalog access for $5 a month. Now, my question to you is, if this service, let's say $5 a month, what's wrong with that? With Disney at $6.99, that feels about right. Works out to be about 20-some cents per channel per month on this. What would you want to see? Now, is this you want it all free? Is this you would be happy with a mixture of live and on-demand content? If it's $5 a month for a huge catalog of Discovery and Scripps and BBC content on demand, is that all you need? Leave me a comment, let me know, but I'm very interested. This is a step towards a la carte TV. It's at least cutting out the middleman. It's allowing Discovery to say, hey, cable, satellite, we don't need you. We're going to take our content direct to the consumers. On the flip side here is it's not exactly the a la carte a lot of people want, but it's moving in that direction. I've always said that the first steps of a la carte would be bundles, and this is kind of a bundle. It's like, hey, you can get all the Discovery content for $5. Maybe Viacom does it, get all the Viacom content for whatever price, all the NBC content. That way you can kind of mix and match. As cord cutting continues to grow, pressure continues to be put on these content providers. That's when I think we'll see things like, hey, you know, here's 20 channels, you pay this price, pick out 20 channels you want, there you go. And then much later down the road, hey, just get TLC, get the ESPN, get whatever channels you want, pick out from a list, pay a flat fee for each. Now, we're moving on. This is about 20-some cents a channel. That seems about right for this content. I'd love to know, would that be something you're interested in? No, it's maybe not the dream everybody has of an a la carte type service where you just pick out what you want, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So I like to see us moving that way. I like to see us continue to put pressure on it. And fingers crossed that this will work somewhere down the road. All right, last story of the day. Roku 9.1 was announced about a month ago now, and it's been rolling out. I have a few streaming players with Roku 9.1, and it'll be rolling out to more and more streaming players over the next few weeks and Roku TVs to come. Includes a lot of cool features, back-end improvements, under the hood improvements, the ability for select apps to sign in to them, and then go and turn around and have all your Rokus log into all of them at once. The other one is improved voice commands. So you can now do things like Roku, rewind 30 seconds, jump forward 30 seconds, etc. And you will be able to launch into movies and TV shows just by asking. And that when this was first announced, it was if you asked for a movie or TV show that was on the Roku channel, it would skip the search results and just launch it into the Roku channel. A lot of people said Roku, that kind of removes you from being a neutral party, and now you're kind of picking favorites by favoring your content. Well, yesterday Roku announced that 20-some services, including ones like Hulu and Tubi and Discovery apps, will be including this feature. So now, for instance, if you would say, Roku played The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, it will launch Hulu, automatically start playing The Handmaid's Tale from where you left off without needing to display the traditional results page. This is a cool feature. Roku says more Roku channels will be adding this feature in the weeks to come. There's some backend that needs to happen here. The databases need to be merged, so when Roku, you ask for The Handmaid's Tale, Roku does know you, yes, Hulu does have that movie or TV show. This is where I go, this is what I do. So a little bit of engineering work needed, but Roku says they're going to continue to roll this out to more and more Roku channels in the weeks and months to come. So this does remove the complaint about Roku no longer being a neutral party. This once again returns Roku to the idea that, hey, all these apps or channels, as they call them, can take advantage of this service and now offer it. While this may not seem like a big deal, I know I hear all the time, I have a remote. I don't need Roku's voice command. I don't need this. I don't need that. Well, for many people, that's true. And I am even in that. I do prefer a remote traditionally. But for many people with physical disabilities, this is a lifesaver. The ability to say, I have a hand ailment or a medical condition that makes it hard for me to hold a remote or use a remote, to be able to use my voice to rewind, fast forward, pause, launch particular shows, movies, navigate the screen is really great. This is something that I think the Fire TV with the Fire TV Cube and the built-in Echo with their Alexa voice commands did the best for a while. Now Roku's moving into that. I think this is great because it opens up the world to more and more people. And I know there's people who really do enjoy voice commands. You walk in the room, you don't even have to find the remote. You say, hey Roku TV, turn on and play The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. And you're getting what you want. It does make streaming a lot more easy, which is something that cable companies have been trying to hold on. I think it was Cox, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Cox was the one running the ads about how difficult Roku's and Apple TVs and all that. They weren't naming them, but they're talking about how difficult streaming is versus just having a cable box and doing it all through cable. So this kind of takes that ability for a super simple, easy to use interface with the voice to counter the arguments of cable about why you should get cable, because it's just easier in their minds. So my question to you is, do you like this feature? Does the Roku voice search with the ability to fast forward rewind is something you're excited about? Is the ability to say, hey Hulu, play Family Guy, play The Simpsons, and have it automatically just launch right into Hulu and go from there. Or hey Roku, play on Hulu, I should say. They do say try to be as specific as you can on what show you want and on what service you want will be best. So leave me a comment, let me know. I'll love to hear from you, and we'll see what they do. Now, this is rolling out. Do you have the Roku 9.1 update? Leave me a comment. I'll love to know that too. All right, I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday. It's going to be pretty wet here the next few days, so I hope wherever you are safe and sound and dry. And keep checking back. We'll be back here every day, Monday through Friday, with daily updates, a weekly recap, and don't forget about Wednesday night live Q&A right here on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreCursNews. I go live for about an hour and answer your cord cutting related questions, all about what's happening in the world of cord cutting right now. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to have you join us, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV. So ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our great videos. So until next time, take care, be safe, and save some money out there.